Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Mini John Cooper Works, and straight away we are going to be opening the engine bay of this rather fast machine. And there you see it. It says twin power turbo, Mini badging right there, and there's some sort of insulation there as well. And of course, because it's a Mini, you see the headlight cutouts are there as well. Car looks lovely actually, but it's not okay. I just missed that. Yeah, it's not really about the design of this car as much as it is about performance. But that said, it still has a fake vent here. That's not something I would expect from a performance super hot hatchback. Alright, but you get the red accents in multiple places, a nice body kit too, and you see the cutouts there. Actually, this is for better breathing, but the lights are really very strong, absolutely beautiful. All LED units, you can see it. This is the DRL ring, which actually doubles up as the indicator. Yep, it doubles up as the indicator. It says John Cooper Works right on the grille. Get a chrome surround too. Coming to the side of the car, you realize this is Chintu because this is under 4 meters in length. Yes, that's right. This 3-door Mini Cooper is under 4 meters in length, but looks very sporty. Okay, it's not long, but it's super wide because it obviously has a wide track. You get these red accents, actually red finished outside rear view mirrors, red finish on the roof as well as the rear spoiler, and red colored brake calipers which says John Cooper Works. The alloy wheel design is actually quite nice. 205 45 17 is the size of the tires. Well, you can get 18 inches as well, but I would not recommend that because of our road conditions, of course. You get body cladding, which is kind of weird on a hatchback. It says John Cooper Works right here, and here you see this actually projects the Mini logo at night. You get a side skirt as well, chrome door handles, and that is obviously to open the fuel lid, which is as easy as it gets. It doesn't really slot in as such, so you kind of worried, but obviously if the car is locked, it doesn't open. Coming to the rear of the car, the lights are updated obviously in the facelift. It gets the Union Jack in the tail lights. The tail lights look lovely at night, and it gets the chrome surround here as well. It says John Cooper Works. And from the rear, what makes it look really purposeful are these dual exhausts. Well, it doesn't get active exhaust. That's kind of disappointing. But you can see the underbody of the car, very neat. Rear fog lamp on both the sides, rear parking sensors. There's a reverse parking camera right there. Of course, you get a rear washer wiper, and there's a high mounted stop lamp which is actually on the inside. Get a nice big antenna as well, and you can see at the rear how the indicator works. That's also cool, but what is cooler is the fact that when you open the boot, well, there seems to be some amount of space at least to keep your luggage. But you know what, you can recline these seats to increase the luggage carrying capacity. 60-40 split, if I may. Below here there's storage. Well, you know what, this car doesn't get a spare wheel. Yeah, that's right, there's no spare wheel inside this car, but nice holder. As soon as you actually put this up, it holds into place. There's something here you can open, I think for storage probably, and there's the parcel shelf. Of course, there's the warning triangle, and you can hold this and shut it. Everything is circle in this car. Everything is circular. I love the design of this car. Now, the good bit is that getting inside the rear isn't much of a task. Okay, it says John Cooper Works here. It's kind of nice. Now, getting into the rear is this switch. You just pull it and there. It's as easy as it gets. The only disappointment is that there's not much space on offer. And even if there's, okay, the seats are super light. Seats are actually comfortable, or a little bit on the firm side, I would say. But let's try and get inside. Okay, this is a tough job for sure. So, one second, let me turn off the indicator. Yeah. Good amount of leg room and knee room if this seat is folded like that. But when you get the seat behind, let's do that once. Okay, there is no space on offer, absolutely no space. They scooped out the seat back. There's a magazine holder here as well. There's a cup holder too. Harman Kardon tweeters, speakers, and proper seat belts, adjustable headrests. Everything is there. In fact, there is a panoramic roof too. Yeah, you can say it's a moon roof because it doesn't open. Just you have the sun blind which has to be manually opened. Okay, there is holes inside probably to ensure that air passes through. And yeah, there is a armrest as such. This is so that the seat belt position is properly in place. And there is a hook on the top too. Okay, the window area is decent. However, no adjustable seat belts. No adjustable seat belt height. But it's very claustrophobic. There is very poor under thigh support. There is no under thigh support here as such. Headroom is just about adequate. Seat is just too upright. So So not really comfortable, and then you see there's no knee room or leg room. So I just push this ahead and get out. Rear seat experience kind of poor. This is not a center armrest as such, but you can still keep your hand. It's very low. There's a cup holder here. This is to adjust the lumbar on the car. Let's do one thing. Let's get outside. Oh my god, what a task getting in and out. This is best for children or for people you don't really like much. Now in order to push this behind, I just have to use the lever. Now these seats are sporty seats, bucket seats, very comfortable, nice bolstering. But unfortunately though, they have no power adjust. Everything is manual. It says John Cooper Works integrated headrest, so not adjustable headrest at the front. And storage space is decent in the glove box, not too much as such, but anyways you won't care much about it because this isn't about features or practicality or any of that. Now there is no keyless entry, which means you have to remove the key every time you want to unlock the car. That's kind of disappointing. Door pockets are super duper slim. Let's open the windows. Obviously it gets frameless doors, and because of which the car looks like a theater. Every time you put the windows down and open the door, it looks so sporty, looks super duper awesome, super duper nice. I actually thought there's some error here or something must have scratched, but that's the design. So kind of awkward and weird in the real sense. Now once you get inside, you realize that the dashboard follows the Mini theme of everything being circular. However, the seats are comfortable because they can be adjusted in multiple ways. Yeah, you can adjust it like this and however you want. In fact, here also if you want to go back, no problem, you can do that as well. But only issue is that it's a little hard to operate. Let me push this back. Okay, here we go. Yeah, there we are in position. Now under thigh support is not an issue because here you can increase the under thigh support as well. So I have no issues with the under thigh support. These are actually the controls for the outside rear view mirror adjustment. Meanwhile, this is to lock or unlock the door. Window is up. Chrome buttons for the power window switches, which is nice. Obviously it doesn't get rear power windows because it doesn't get windows at the rear which can be opened. Dead pedal, very comfortable. These are the controls for the automatic headlights. It gets automatic headlight. This is for the rear fog light, and this seems to be for the headlight leveler or probably for maybe the instrument cluster intensity. I don't really care, I don't really know, but still we'll get inside. And let me tell you, the steering wheel is adjustable but manually, both for reach as well as rake. When you take it down, you see instrument cluster also moves. There's a heads up display, which is kind of cool because it shows you the speed, of course, and also shows you the track you're browsing through, the song track. So you actually browse it through this. These are the controls here on the right side. This is for voice command, this is for picking up a phone, and these are actually for the audio system. These are the controls for the wipers. Obviously it gets automatic wipers as well. Plenty of spray on offer, indeed a lot of spray on offer. And obviously it also gets a rear wiper washer too, which works quite well on this car. Lot of spray everywhere you see it, so practical in that sense. Now the dashboard gets this Union Jack, which actually is part of ambient lighting. In fact, I'll tell you something, right now we are in green mode. So whenever you change the mode, now this light also changes. That's kind of fun. Okay, now we are in mid balance setting, and obviously the circular dial here also changes. So the colors keep changing, which is so good. It's like theater for sure. Love the quality of the interior, but hard plastics aren't there much because this is not really hard. It's on the softer side, but no auto dimming inside rear view mirror, aircraft style controls. These are obviously for the lights. Plenty of lights, and this is to open the sunroof. But when you open the sunroof now, this thing does not open. You have to manually open the sun blind as well. So once you press it, this much opens. Press it once again and then it opens completely. Yeah, the sunroof is a nice bit on this car because it brings in a lot of light in this rather black interior with obviously red treatment. These are the controls for the air conditioning. It gets a dual zone climate control air conditioning system. These are multiple buttons. Now this is obviously for the drive mode selector. This is to turn off traction control, and the start engine stop button is super cool. This is obviously the button you would press so that the car doesn't turn off because it has got automatic start stop system to conserve fuel as well. Storage space is plenty. In fact, there is a key of a Mercedes C63 AMG here. You can see that. That's also rad. Car doesn't come with that. There's an ashtray here. So yeah, sort of practical. This center armrest can be moved up or down, and below here there's storage space, but this is actually for mobile charging, wireless mobile charging. And yeah, that's about it. Manual handbrake, thankfully, thank God for small mercies. These are the controls for the iDrive controller or whatever you want to call it, because this is very much a BMW system inside here. Now this screen, it happens to be an 8.8 inch screen, is very fluid, very nice, very fast as well. Get into My Mini, you have a lot of stuff which you would see in BMW cars, so there's nothing which is different. Sport displays looks really rad, and there you see, it shows you how much power and torque you're consuming in real time. Only issue is it's showing in kW, yeah, kilowatt. Ambient light options could have been better on this car, but very funky display as such. Shows you notification, My Mini, radio and whatnot communication notifications too. Very nice. In fact, you see this light keeps changing all the time, which is super cool as well. But I would particularly like this Union Jack color, which keeps changing according to the drive modes. Let's get into reverse. This is the reverse parking camera. This is for the reverse parking sensors, and it doesn't get guidelines. Yeah, firstly, it doesn't get guidelines, and the guidelines are not adaptive because the guidelines are not there only in the first place. So how the hell would they be adaptive? Yeah. So you can actually turn off the reverse camera if you feel so brave. You're planning a Guinness Book of World Record of best parking or fastest parking. These are the controls for the indicators as well as the BC button, which is actually used to browse through this multi-information display on the instrument cluster. So you press this button and there you can see it's telling you how much, what's the fuel consumption like. It's somewhere around 5 kilometers per liter. What's your average speed? What's your real-time speed and whatnot. Obviously it gets an odometer, a trip meter, a clock, outside temperature, ambient temperature, start-stop system warning, and a lot of other information. But launch control is shown here as well as on the heads-up display. Now the audio system is fantastic in this car. Unfortunately, I never got to witness it because I was busy listening to the amazing sound from this engine. Now this system is actually very fluid, very slick. It's a touchscreen system. Yeah, it's a touchscreen, very fast as well. Coming back to the menu, we are going to do one thing. We are going to play a radio right away. Some stupid songs playing on the radio, I can't even decipher that. This is the fuel meter, speedometer, and the tachometer where the traction control system is off because I love wheel spin on this car, and it obviously gets a chrome surround here as well. You can see the stitching, beautiful stitching on the steering wheel. The horn is also really loud. Listen to it. Massively loud. I love the AC vents. Air conditioning actually works really well on this car. Mirrors are very effective as well. So yeah, this car is very practical. Let's do one thing. Let's close this sunroof because it was open from one side. Yeah, now it is closed. There's a handle here. There is no handle here. You see that they have actually removed it, but this is softness somehow on the roof liner. Meanwhile, this is the microphone receiver. And as you can see, this Mini Cooper John Cooper Works, actually Mini John Cooper Works facility, yeah, whatever you want to call it, is fantastic in terms of quality, fit, finish, feel good factor, and feeling special as well. But yes, certain amount of features could have been present in this car. Like at this price point, I expect more for sure, probably ventilated seats, power seats, and maybe even a front parking camera. But that's beside the point because it's all about driving. So let's get going. But before we get going, these are the controls for the cruise control system of this car. It gets plastic paddles, which are good to operate, but metal would have been really nice. It gets a tire pressure monitoring system. Of course, it says flat tire monitor active. Tire pressures are fine, thankfully. And you've got two USB slots here along with a cigarette lighter as well. You can see the ambient lighting. Well, that's kind of cool, but let's get going finally. Alright, we are all set to go, which means turning off the air conditioning. We are in drive mode. We get into sport for the gearbox. We put the traction control into sport as well, and we get into sport mode for the drive mode as well. Everything seems to be configured. Close this message. Sport display is on. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. Revving the motor. Launch control active. Find me one car which does this kind of wheel spin, and traction control is on right now. Okay, it's on dynamic traction control, so traction control is very much on. It's just traction control sport, but there's just so much thrust on offer from this 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. It has a single turbocharger, but it uses twin scroll turbocharging. What a fantastic engine. In fact, I keep saying this again and again and again and again. This is one of the best 4-cylinder engines right now in the market, and it is such a point and shoot car. It is a go-kart on steroids because there's so much grunt on offer. So compared to the regular Cooper S, this engine has been upgraded. It produces 39 more horsepower and 40 Newton meters more torque. The result is it produces 231 horsepower at 5,200 RPM, and that stays till 6,000 RPM. Meanwhile, the torque output happens to be 320 Newton meters, which by the way comes in at a low 1250 RPM and peaks all the way at 4,800 RPM, giving it a very wide torque band. That's the reason this car has grunt throughout the average. It has grunt, and even more grunt. You know, you hit the accelerator pedal a bit and it absolutely lunges ahead. And compared to the Cooper S, this one does not use a 7-speed dual clutch gearbox because added torque, right? So because of the added torque, they had to actually drop the DCT gearbox. Otherwise, it would have blown probably. So now this one gets a 8-speed torque converter gearbox, and you know what? You can't even realize it because it is so freaking fast with shifts, and the car, the way it handles is surreal. So performance is fantastic. It goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 6.1 seconds. And obviously you saw the launch control mode, which is left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. But before you do that, you have to do certain things, like obviously put the gearbox in sport, get the traction control in sport, and obviously put sport mode as well. But I'm just going to take the liberty of turning off traction control completely. And once traction control, okay, DSC deactivated. Once traction control is deactivated, this is an absolute wheel spin monster, which you will see in a bit. So there are 3 drive modes on offer. There is green, which is basically eco. There is mid, which is basically comfort, and there's sport, which is sport, of course. And in green also, there's so much thrust. Now you don't feel you're driving in eco mode. I've never seen a car have this aggressive eco mode. It's just lunges ahead with so much enthusiasm. Even in eco mode, it made it like a balance of fuel efficiency and obviously performance. But sport mode is the one you need to drive in because it thrusts you ahead with so much enthusiasm. It's mind blowing to an entirely different level. Brake performance is surreal. I mean, pedal bite is super duper awesome, and it stops dead in this track. There is no flex in this chassis. There is just no freaking flex. And hear this. Find me a car which wheel spins like this. This is not a wheel spin. This is absolute madness because all that power and torque is going to the front wheels. It overwhelms the front wheels, and obviously they just make so much noise. In fact, this car not only makes wheel spin when you launch, this is a car which even makes wheel spin in the center. I mean, randomly it will make a wheel spin. You get on the throttle and then all of a sudden you hear a wheel spin. That is the way it performs. Obviously the engine sounds fantastic. It's loud, it's sporty, and in the top end of the rev range it goes absolutely berserk. And you know what? You can obviously manually take control of things. So right now I am using the manual mode, and it will not upshift unless and until I decide to do so. So here, check this out. Yeah, it will not upshift. 6,500 RPM is where the red line lies, and it will hold on to a red line. It gives you goosebumps in the top end of the rev range, but the low end is good, the mid range is good, and the top end is even better. How can they have grunt throughout? I mean, there is not a single flat spot in the complete rev range of this car. There's just grunt, 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 and even more grunt. There's just insanity from this engine. It feels so fantastic. Now, the only disappointing part is that this doesn't get the active exhaust with a flap, where the flap actually opens and gives you added oomph. That's missing here because that was in the JCW kit, which is for track use only. Press a button, the active exhaust opens, and it cracks and pops, and it does all of that and more. Not that this is anything less, but that one was just another level altogether. In fact, you guys should hear it right now. The length of this car happens to be sub 4 meters, which makes it absolutely easy to pilot even when you're coming through areas like these. And then you know what, you randomly decide, let's go to the throttle end. How does it do that? How does it spin its wheels so aggressively? But you know what? This is the best place to hear the car. So here we go again. Yeah, it's very uncomfortable over bad roads. You can feel that because not only is the suspension, see, manual mode, holding the red line at 6,500 RPM, and then absolutely pushes ahead. The car is so freaking amazing in the way it performs. Absolutely surreal thrust, surreal acceleration. It doesn't want you to do anything other than what you're already doing. And the sun is right on our face, so we're just going to stop and launch it again. Trust me on this, there is no other front wheel drive car which feels so good to drive. In fact, there is no hatchback which feels so good to drive. In fact, there is no car under rupees 60 lakhs which feels so good to drive. This is in a different league altogether. This JCW is fantastic. The handling is absolutely surreal. It's pinpoint accurate. You can feel everything you are doing. You can feel the front wheels. Obviously, power is channeled to the front wheels. That's the reason why it spins its wheels like absolute madness. But the steering is brilliant. Okay, it's the same steering as the Cooper S, but still, it has so much feel and feedback. And obviously, the 3 drive modes vary a lot of things, including the engine, the gearbox, as well as the steering wheel and the dampers, in case you have adaptive dampers, which happen to be optional, which just make the ride quality a lot more bearable in comfort, or either in mid and eco mode or green mode. But this car's ride quality is still very stiff. Okay, cars have stiff suspension. This not only has a stiff suspension, this also has a stiff chassis, and because of the stiff chassis, you can feel everything. I mean, everything can be felt on the inside. Just to put it into terms, I'll tell you what, this car had done only 59 kilometers when it came to me. A brand new car was rattling from the center console because of the massive stiffness. The stiffness of this car is another level only of stiffness. It's absolutely crazy. It's unbearably stiff on bad roads. And you know what? This car is not really glued at high speeds because it feels a little twitchy and fiddly as well. But you love it because everything is under control. Just a little counter correction on the steering wheel and you're back into your track. That is the level of obviously grip, feel, and obviously feedback from the steering wheel, chassis, as well as the front wheels. But I love spinning the front wheels. Just get on the gas, sounds brilliant. What an engine, what a sound. absolutely amazing. Now obviously it drinks fuel like no one's business. For a 4-cylinder engine, this is not at all economical. It has a 44-liter fuel tank, but it will give you between 5 to 8 kilometers per liter, depending entirely on your driving style. But if you drive like me, you're not going to get more than 5 kilometers per liter for sure. Trust me on that. Okay, listen to this. Obviously, because of all that grunt, you know, the car thrusts so much out, you're fighting with the steering wheel. This is a car which tells you, you don't need to go to the gym. I will make you work out with the steering wheel itself. And that's not all. The beauty of this beast lies in the fact that it actually understeers near limit, which is not a good thing, right? But the limit is so far off, it's so far away, you will not reach it at all. At least not on a road. Even on a racetrack, you will reach with great difficulty. I've driven this car on the racetrack. I absolutely loved it. I was like, I need to drive it on the road as well. That is the level of brilliance of this Mini Cooper JCW. Oh my god. But there is a problem. There always has to be a problem. There can never be a fairy tale ending. Now can it be? Because this car costs more than 10 lakh rupees compared to the regular Cooper S. So the price of this machine happens to be rupees 52.20 lakhs on road Mumbai, which makes it very expensive for the slight increase in performance when compared to the Cooper S. And that premium, well, I'm not sure if you want to pay for it because it is extremely expensive. But forget the expense for a moment. This is the ultimate Mini Cooper you can buy right now. And what makes it even more ultimate is the fact that when you go full throttle now, this car will keep pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling, and there's no steering involved here. It will go hit 200 kilometers per hour. It will still keep going. It will be a little fidgety, but it's a lot of fun. You are under control. It even has a race flag here above 200 kilometers per hour. That is the level of madness from this Mini Cooper John Cooper Works. So guys, this is my vlog of the Mini Cooper John Cooper Works. If you liked it, make sure to give the thumbs up. That's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. Oh my god, the thrust is insane. The pinpoint accuracy from the steering wheel is just something else. And this is a car which is best solo driven because passengers feel very uncomfortable and pukey as well. But who cares? Because everything else is a different experience altogether. The suspension might be super stiff, but the gearbox is super fast. Everything is ultimate level, right from the stiffness of the suspension, the chassis, the gearbox speed of shifting, the engine, the refinement, very refined. And then all of a sudden, turbo kicks in and it goes berserk. Absolutely freaking berserk. Bye-bye. But before we end this video, there has to be another mad wheel spin. So here we go. Bonkers, absolute bonkers. And let me tell you another thing, this car is very light, you know, it just weighs 1300 kgs, that's it, 1295 kgs actually to be precise. And it gets a very fast shifting gearbox, which you can also manually shift using the pedals or obviously the Triptronic function as well. Right now we are in 8th gear at 100 kilometers per hour. It's taking it slightly above 1500 rpm. That's the level of touring ability probably the engine has, but that's not how you're going to be driving, right? Of course not. And in the city, the steering feels obnoxiously heavy no matter which mode you're in. The chassis feels super stiff no matter how you drive it or where you drive it. So this is more of a night drive rather than a daily driver. But you know what? You come to an open road, you're driving in 8th gear very comfortably, but you know what? The road will tell you you're not actually comfortable. The engine might be comfortable, and then you decide, you know what? I feel the need for speed, of course, and then you get to the gas. It's not going to downshift because in manual mode you're going to flick the gearbox right and left, and there we are in 3rd gear and absolute bonkers. Bye bye.
I told you मुझे Mini Cooper उतनी ज़्यादा पसंद नहीं है because of the round feel. It's like the look and feel is very roundish, and on top of it the side view mirrors and everything, it's very round. तो मुझे उतना पसंद नहीं था. And even when I sat beside while you were driving, the passenger feel is also not that great. It's like अरे यार बहुत ही, you know, kind of
few minutes back you wanted to puke. What about
yes,
that?
Exactly. It's like pukish. It's not good. कुछ ज़्यादा fun नहीं है. And then the moment I got into the driving, I feel that there is a difference. Like, it's a tremendous difference. Like, you know what, talking about what I feel about the car, let me start off with the cons, okay? So what I don't like about the car is, like I told you, the look and feel. It's like pretty round, and I'm a person who likes sharp edges. I'm not a hatchback person, so again I was like, okay, I don't like a lot of hatchbacks compared to sedans and all. Or yeah, I don't like the rattling sound. Again, con for me. And everything is very manual inside. मतलब सीट एडजस्टमेंट एंड ऑल, इट्स नॉट मोर फोकस्ड टुवर्ड्स कंफर्ट, तो ये भी एक कौन है. बट keeping everything aside, when I'm driving, it's just completely magnificent. I mean, probably this is the first automatic car जो drive करके इतना मस्त feeling आता है. It's like, this is not like Mini Cooper, it's like a mini race car, you know? It's like that level.
And handling and steering.
Yes. Handling, brake, steering, everything is amazing. Like I told you na, I don't like much of this, steerings which get heavy with speed and all. लेकिन यहाँ पे it's like mandate, because जो pickup है to suffice for it, you need the steering to be really hard, because इतनी जल्दी speed pickup कर दी है, and then you're like, it's mandate, it's a mandatory thing, and इसमें मजा भी आता है. It's like a like I told you, it's not Mini Cooper, it's like a mini race car. I'm in love with this car. Like this is the first car जो चलाने से पहले you have a different perspective of it, and then once you drive, you just completely change your outlook. That's how it is. It's like before I drove this, I was like, okay, it's not good, might be okay, I'm not sure how it is, but चलाने के बाद तो it's like, it's amazing.
Do you think it's worth rupees 52.20 lakhs?
Yes.
And you are a very
I know, I'm not chindi, please, not as chindi as you are, ठीक है? But ये एक ही गाड़ी है जो ऐसा लगता है कि worth it है, मतलब it is worth it.
The camera is optional, 1,20,000 bucks. The seat you're sitting on is optional. I'm kidding, everything is standard in this JCW, but in the Cooper, a lot of things are optional.
You mean Subway? Subway जैसे customize कर लो सब कुछ.
हाँ, but Subway में चीज आती है फ्री में. कोई फ्री में चीज नहीं देता.